Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea Miller. First off, thank you for watching, and please give good comments and critiques. I would appreciate that so much. So, public speaking. It's a learned sort of skill. It can be very easy for some people, or it can be very distressful for others. It's also a necessary skill that we need to have nowadays in our modern era professional world, because we do all of our Skype interviews for new jobs, we do our video presentations, we teach colleagues around the world how to do certain things through video, online, and public speaking is definitely a component that needs to be learned, needs to be honed throughout our working careers. It's also just a skill that every worker needs to have, whether you're speaking to a customer you're trying to get commission from, your CEO, your district manager. It definitely needs a little bit of work whenever you're nervous, whenever you're a little excited, and you need to be able to use your public speaking skills to bring yourself down a little bit. So I find that most people do have a public speaking fear though, and that definitely doesn't help. It's an inhibitory sort of fear in my opinion, because they fear the rejection of the crowd when they mess up. They fear making a fool of themselves. They fear just all the eyes watching them. And whenever you're speaking and you have that fear, suddenly you start to panic, you start to fidget, stutter, mumble, and then you look like a fool. You probably feel like a fool, and suddenly your fear is validated, and it's a vicious cycle. But fortunately for us, I don't have that sort of fear. I've always felt very easy and natural in front of crowds. I've always felt very approachable. So whenever I had my earlier experience in my earlier years and up into high school in theater, that was always a really good skill I always had, because then crowds weren't an issue for me. Being in ridiculous costumes and singing songs and talking complete nonsense from a script was never an issue, because I always felt very easy, very comfortable. I always felt okay. I never felt fearful, and I never felt like I was going to make a fool of myself, and if I did, I laughed it off. So, fortunately for us, we'll be all good there. Also, in case you didn't notice, I have expressive hands and a face that is very expressive as well, and that definitely helps with public speaking because it makes the speaker more interesting, more intriguing, more active. It makes the person fun to watch. And whenever you're visually caught up with them, you're also going to hear what they're saying. You're going to listen to them more. So that definitely helps with public speaking, because then I put my point out across in a more fun way that people respond to better, rather than a speaker who just stands there completely boring, or a speaker who is monotonous and you want to sleep through. But unfortunately, with all the theater and all the expression and the excitement, I also speak so quickly. I'm very excitable. Whenever I know what I'm speaking about, or whenever I at least am excited about it, I tend to go very, very quickly. I tend to speed up to the point where people don't understand what I'm saying, and that's an issue. If you ever catch me, let me know. Let me know in those comments, because I definitely have been monitoring myself over the years, trying to bring myself down, but I still do need some help, I'll admit. I'm humble in that sense. But also with that comes timing. Comes with filling the time frame. You know, we have 5 minutes in this class, and it's not a long time, but it can be for some people, especially myself. I've always been very short and concise, to the point. Whenever I'm writing papers that need to be 5 pages long, and I finished it in 2, and I've basically put out all my points and all my explanations, and it's done, everyone says, oh, just fill it with fluff. But I had no idea what fluff was. I didn't know how that worked. In high school, of course, you learn some things like that. You learn how that works. But in public speaking, you can't fluff a speech. You can't just say nonsense. You have to be informative, you have to be interesting, and you still have to be with your main point. So definitely filling my time, that's going to be something I hope to improve on as well. Just getting the time all the way, not going too short. And also, a little bit about myself before I go. I did move to Gainesville about 2 years ago, and whenever I moved from Illinois, in the middle of nowhere, small little town, then I talked really quickly because I was so excited to be in a new place, and everyone thought I was some city girl, and I was always having to correct them and say, no, I'm from a farm, and that's awkward because then they're wrong and I feel weird. But so that's public speaking for me. That's who I am as a public speaker. You'll need this. There you go. It's pretty basic. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.